There. As you can tell by the title, I've been inspired by a few of some of my favorite booktubers. Mainly I think it's A Clockwork Reader. They have been a big inspiration. I've been watching them for hours upon hours, and I'm big into reading as well. Though, for years, I have been in this huge reading slump. And I've been watching some of her vlogs about being in said slump. So, I thought I would give a attempt of making a reading vlog about me reading some books, just forcing myself to read some books. Because there are some books I really want to read. I want to read them. Their story seems so cool. And I will show you the books. Well, the first one I'm going to read is a very disturbing one. I picked it up because it was disturbing. Minnie Mice. Minnie. He doesn't want to say hi. But, it's called The Slob by Aaron. I don't know. Maybe that's backwards for you. Maybe I can find a way to flip it around. But I don't know. I'm not good at editing. I'm like Trisha here. Trisha Paytas, that problematic girl. She don't edit her videos or something. I don't either. And the next book I'm going to try to force myself to read is Song of Achilles. I read some passages from the book, and it seems like the perfect book for me, to be honest. I love it already, even though I haven't read a page of it. I've only read some sentences that were in YouTube comments. But it seems so poetic and nice, and I'm excited to read it. And then the last book I'm going to try to read, let me just get up, is Tursel and Eleanor. I got this from the library, and it's overdue. I'm not good at being on time to anything, and I'm going to try to read this one. Actually, I'm going to try to read it before Song of Achilles because it's so overdue that I have to return it. I'm not trying to steal from the library. But this is about, like, magic. Like, using magical bells to ensure the dead stay dead. Like, I've never heard of anything like that before, and I'm excited about it. Slob, I've started reading it like weeks, maybe even months ago. I'm really bad with time. But, let me just read a part of the back, because if I actually verbally explain what it's about, I can't say this video will get demonetized because I don't make any money off these videos. Oh my god, Darthimus! This is my cat, Darth Vader. Well, she's really my mom's cat, but she's real sweet. I didn't know she was in here. But this character, Vera, she and her husband, Daniel, are expecting a baby. So she picks up another job as a door-to-door salesman, but gets kidnapped by one of the people she's trying to sell to. And, the steps of an evil that resurrect the ghastly memory she so desperately tried to wash away. Nothing will prepare you for the nastiness, disorder, and sickening horror brought forth by the slob. Content warnings of SA, just torture in general. It's really graphic. I've gotten to the first horror part, and someone is taken apart on a rug. It's called The Red Rug. Yeah, it's not a family-friendly book in the slightest, but honestly, I kind of like it so far. I like the shocking horror aspect of it. I like how gory it is. So, I'm just gonna try and get these 3 books done. I'm hoping to get this one done by Thursday, which it's kind of thick. Not at all. No, this isn't thick. Like, it's like 338 pages. Taco! This one, it's a baby book. Like, it's really small. Like, baby book. It's only... Oh my god, there's bonus art at the back of this thing? Jesus! What? Oh, sorry, I just figured out that there's a possible second book to this. I got distracted. This book is only 128 pages. So the fact that I'm struggling to finish this book, it's a problem. Because I read, is the biggest Harry Potter book Goblet of Fire? Is it? I think it is. But, I finished that in, like, with school taking up 90% of my time and homework and stuff, it took me about maybe less than a week to finish it. This has been taking me months to finish. I thought it would take me a day. And I don't like audiobooks. I don't think they're less than. Nowhere near. If you read audiobooks, that's perfectly fine. It's just, I get too distracted and I have to like rewind and go back and try to make sense of what I'm hearing. It's better if I have the physical copy. It's always been that way for me. Even if someone reads it to me, I can't absorb it the same way. Which is the same thing as an audiobook. But basically, I'm just going to try and get through this book. I got these little things at Walmart, like Hannah does. I'm going to try and mark the book at scenes that make me feel an emotion, or maybe things I find ridiculous. But I'm just gonna try and do that like a real booktuber. And I'll give you updates with each book. This is probably gonna be a really long thing, but I'm running out of time, so I'll check back in tomorrow with some updates about this. Okay, so it's the next day, and I actually managed to finish the book that night. I'm very surprised with myself, but I marked some pages. The orange tabs are where I literally had to stop reading because it became so disturbing. Like the first, I won't even go into the first moment. But what do you call it? One of these parts where I had to stop reading was where he, remember, content warning for very violent gore, for horrible acts, like inhumane acts. But, I just thought I would give one example of the type of violence that's in this book, because it is surprising. There was no empathy, no mercy with writing this. They didn't want to create a book that was good for people who've experienced such a thing. They just wanted to create the most shocking, violent thing they could. Like, for example, this main character was in her second trimester, completely pregnant, and he, aborts the child with a dumbbell. That's all I'll go into. And like this one wasn't as disturbing. It was just the tension got me because there's these two characters, the main character Vera, and then this side character Sandra, who was brought in, and I was rooting for them both. I wanted them both to get out, and the tension was so high because they had this plan to fake their deaths and everything, and it worked to a degree, but it backfired big time, because this is spoilers. But I doubt any of you guys will read this book because of how disturbing it is. Once again, no empathy. Nothing like that in this book. Vera accidentally kills Sandra because of their escape attempt. There was a fight, and it caused her to unalive Sandra by a shotgun to the face. And like, I'll show you one of the pictures on here. This is Sandra. It's very gory. It's black and white, but it's very gory, and it has mutilation. That's Sandra. That is just what happens. It's so gross in this book. I don't know if I like it. Like, it's well written. Like, the tension was high. It made me feel for the characters. Like, but it was just torture porn. That's all it was. I guess I was told that before I read it, but I guess I just wanted to see it for myself. And at the end of the book, turns out she's pregnant with the assailant's child. And that's what the second book is going to be about. Yeah, this book is just very rough. But I can't tell if I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't enjoy reading it. It was very messed up. I didn't have a fun time reading it. But I don't know. It's a very conflicting book, because once again, it's well written. I felt for the characters. When she escaped, I was so happy for her. I was so relieved. But at the same time, how can I like a book that's nothing but assault and torture? Like, I don't know. It's very conflicting, but I don't know. Well, next I'm going on to a more lighthearted book. Tursel and Eleanor. A very fantasy book. I'm hoping to get this one done by Thursday. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody. It was just my dogs. But, this, once again, I think I already stated, 335 pages. If I just read like 100 pages a day, I can get this done in time, maybe even early. But yeah, I don't really know what this is about too well, but I think that's better. Usually if I know what it's about, then I get anxious to actually reach that part. Like, when are they going to bring this up? When are they going to bring this up? And the less I know, the more invested I get into the characters. And then once again, after this book, I will start Song of Achilles. And then I have one more book I'm going to read after that one, but that's another library book. But, yeah. I'm excited to start this one. And I will give you updates as I read it. Also, forgot to mention, I found my Kindle that I've had since I was in high school. And, managed to get into it and stuff like that. And I also started reading Dracula again, rereading Dracula. Let's see what page I'm on. I started rereading it because I'm trying to write my own book. And I want it to be in the perspective of a journal, like Dracula is. And I'm on page 13 right now, like I just started it. And there's like 500 or so pages. I completely forgot how long the book is. But yeah. So I added another book to my list, but I won't be focusing on it because I'm mainly studying it just to, understand how it's written. Okay, so it's almost midnight right now, and I read another 100 pages of this book. A little bit over. And I'm really proud of myself. I'm 2/3 of the way through the book. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. I don't really have much to update on the progress of the book, other than I really like it. It's still really good. The world building's really interesting. I'm still really invested in the characters. I can't wait till Tursel, I think his name is, and Eleanor meet again. Because, I don't know, it just... I want them to interact more. Because I've been hearing about their stories. But, other than that, I just have a suspicion on how the mentor is going to die. Because the mentors always die. That's just how the story goes. And all I'll say is that I have a feeling as to how she will. I think it was foreshadowed, but I could be reading too much into it. I just think they focused on the details of a dangerous thing a little bit too much. So, I could be overlooking it. Or looking too much into it, I mean. But the book I really want to update you guys on is Dracula, because since rereading it, there's a lot of things I didn't notice. In 10th grade, it bored me a lot reading it, but I rated it 5 stars because I liked vampires, so I was like, this book has to be good. But so far, I would give it a genuine 5 stars. It's really good. There's so much information in it. And one thing I love is the description of Dracula. Like, he has pointy ears. I knew vampires had pointy ears, but everyone told me that in the books it wasn't canon. That, the books never mentioned pointy ears. And I'm like, it was right there in the book. And, his fangs stick out of his mouth a little bit, so when his mouth is closed, you can still see his fangs, and that reminds me of a cat blepping. So, this most dangerous demon creature is adorable, especially since he's a little old man right now. He is not his young, powerful self yet, even though he's still very powerful. And rather than gracefully walking down or up, like walking down a wall, like how they do in the movies and TV shows, if they even add that aspect of a vampire in, he crawls down on all fours like a lizard. I don't know why I didn't pay attention to that. I guess I just wanted to romanticize vampires so much that I overlooked the unsavory aspects of what they can do. But I really regret that because I'm liking this monstrous aspect to them. The way that they're just not right. There's something wrong about them. It's really interesting. And it's really well written. Like, it's actually grabbing my attention. I like the journal format and how everything is from his perspective. And I'm on page, let's see, 59 right now. I'm on chapter 4. Not too far into it considering how long the book is. But right now, Jonathan Harker is terrified of Count Dracula and is trying to escape the castle and came in contact with the 3 brides of Dracula. I wonder why they're called the Brides of Dracula. I don't know if it's mentioned in the book, but so far they haven't called them brides. They're just 3 vampires who live in the castle with him. And they're actually described as 2 of them have the same nose as him. So my immediate thought went, what if they're related to him? But that couldn't be because he's so old. Unless these vampires are as old as him, which I doubt because they don't seem as powerful. And in my mind, the older you are as a vampire, the more powerful you are. I don't know if that's how the lore actually works or if Dracula's just an exception. I don't know. But I hope to learn more about vampires in this book. Just waiting for Von Helsing to show up because I know he's the vampire hunter, so he knows more about it, so he's bound to have some exposition. But I thought I should just update you guys. And I think I'll end this vlog when I start Song of Achilles, so that this video doesn't get too long, because I already know it's over 30 minutes. But yeah, by the time I finish this book, I'll end this vlog, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. That'll be it. I think I'll do some spoilers. Just because I know I'm going to want to talk about it. But I'll warn you guys if there's any spoilers. So I finished the book, finally. I really liked it. It was a really, really good book. And I can understand a criticism of it, but I liked this aspect of the book. Spoilers. Forgot to say that. I'm just gonna go into the book. And I found that the 2 main characters, they're really insta-lovey. They kind of just fall in love. He kind of falls in love with her because has a determined look in her eye when he first met her. I don't know why she fell in love with him. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's extremely insta-love. Yet I was still rooting for them. I still wanted them to be together, to be okay. I really enjoyed every time they got together, or he gave her a quick smile, or she gave him waved at him. I was just sitting there my heart. I loved it. And the enemy, though, I will say, because I was watching TikTok today, and I follow this one woman who gives writing advice. And I would say the plot here isn't really strong. It still had me invested. I wanted them to win. But it wasn't very... there weren't high stakes. Technically they were high, because they keep talking about how this enemy... let me see if I can pronounce his name right. let me try to find it. Sorry about that. Caragor? Caragor. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. But, it's described multiple times how he slaughters thousands, that he, like, kills an entire village, which is like 1,000 people, and then he steals their bodies and reanimates them for his army. Which is terrible. And it sucks. But nothing really happens to the characters. The only enemy that I can say was, like, high stakes, I was anxious about, was an enemy named Hedge. Odd name. But he, like, repeatedly shows up 3 times. And each time, it was oh, crap. Like, I actually felt something when he showed up. Caragor, when he shows up, I'm just sitting here like, nice. Now they get to face him. And, like, every time he almost escapes or does something severe, I'm like, okay. Like, I didn't feel like anything bad would happen to Tursel, Eleanor, or Muriel, another character. I didn't really feel like they could die, but I felt like if you want to hold my attention a bit longer, they need to lose more. Like, I don't know, like, but the mentor, how do I pronounce her name? I know the name. It's just that if I don't read it, I'm bound to pronounce it wrong, even though I'm probably already pronouncing them wrong. Tizaniel? Pretty name. I just don't know how to pronounce it well. I always just pronounce it in my head Tizani, even though it has an L in it. It's probably not right. It's just whenever I'm reading it, I just automatically read it as Tizani. But she, as all mentors do, dies. And she didn't die the way I thought she would. I thought her old age would get to her and she would slip and fall into the dangerous waters. It kind of plays into that. But she, like, Caligor kills her. Like, launches her back with a spear and, like, breaks her back and skull. And she's, like, dead instantly. Which sucked. I was just sitting there like, crap. But I knew it was going to happen because all mentors die. It's predictable. But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I can understand it's part of the hero's journey. You can't have your mentor around forever. You gotta grow at some point. But she's not 100% dead. Like, she's in the spirit world almost. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, the 9 gates of death and stuff. The lore in here, it's like I understand it. I just don't know how to communicate it. But she helps Tursel in spirit, like, literally, her spirit helps him, and bind Caligor and defeat him and imprison him, but I thought she would die by walking stones over a harsh river, slip due to her old age, and fall, because they, like, really emphasized how she wasn't in her youth. She was old. She was going deaf. She couldn't travel as long, as fast. So they kept bringing it up. So I thought her old age would be her demise. It wasn't, but in the afterlife, she's trying to help Tursel bind Caligor, and she falls into the river and gets swept up into final death. which kind of alludes to how I thought she would die, but I thought that that's how she would literally die, not just pass on. So, I was kind of right, mostly wrong, though. But the ending's really happy, except for it preludes to something really dark. Like, Eleanor gets a vision of herself in the in the future, like when she's in her 30s, very pregnant, dying, and Tursel is the father of Sabriel, which leads into the Old Kingdom series, those books. So, this is just a story of how the main character from the original three books meet. And I guess I knew from the beginning that they would get together. Very insta-love, but I'm not put off by that. I just like romance. As long as it's not too edgy. Like, people be like, you can't get near me, I'm too dangerous. I just roll my eyes at that. I'm just like, just shut up. Like, very few times does that work. Like, sorry about that. I ran out of camera space, as I normally do. I'm only recording this on my little dingy Samsung tablet that's a few years old. But I was saying that I read the Lunar Chronicle series, and I can't remember the name of the book, like which book it was. I think it was the second in the series. But it was a play on Little Red Riding Hood. And she falls in love with the wolf, which is a man who has wolf DNA and is, like, mutated. And that one I could actually understand why he was so dangerous, because by the end they mutate him some more, and, like, he's more, like, he's uglier, in a say. Like, he's just more mutated. Like, he has more of a snout. He's got, like, huge claws, and he's insecure about that, because he was just a normal looking guy who was tougher, had like fangs and claws and stuff like that. Now he's turned into like this monstrous beast who's really relies on instincts. So I can understand how that one is more dangerous to deal with, but usually it's a bunch of people who are like, I have slightly above average strength, I'm too dangerous, or I happen to know this type of magic, I'm dangerous. And it's like, you have a complete choice to do or not do something. Like, I don't get it. It drives me insane of the I'm too dangerous trope. But this had none of that. It was just wholesome. It made me look forward to them, because they just, once again, no, I'm not gonna say it again. But, even though it's a really fast-paced romance, it's just nice. Like, the way they interact, they genuinely enjoy each other's company. They look forward to each other. They spend hours talking about nothing. It's just nice. It's almost refreshing, just because of the books I read, at least. But I think that's the end of my tirade about this book. Now, Dracula, I didn't get much farther. I only got around halfway into chapter 4. And, sorry, I was checking the time I have. I only have 8 minutes of recording time left. So let's finish this video up in that amount of time. Well, so far they got into the 3 brides. They have the power of, like, hypnosis. Dracula probably has it too, but so far only the brides have used it. They have the power of hypnosis and turning into a mist, like a fog that he observed and was, like, entranced. And then as they got closer, he could tell they were, like, ghostly women. And he starts screaming, runs to his room, and then once he finds he's locked in his room, he starts crying. This is a macho man, so him crying, he must really be scared. I'm on page, let's see, I'm on page 67. But remember, this is the book that I'm reading on the side. I'm not trying to get through this book, I'm just leisurely reading it. Next book on my list is Song of Achilles. I'm actually really excited to read this one. Heard it's like a tragic romance. I don't know the myth of Achilles. Doesn't he die? Like, I just know he dies in the end. Like, doesn't, like, someone shoot an arrow at his Achilles heel, because that's his only weakness, and he dies? I think that's it. But I don't know anything about, what's his name? Patroclus? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm so bad at names. But Patroclus, I don't know anything about him. I have absolutely no idea, but I don't want to read the myth yet, because I don't want to be spoiled about anything in this book. I'll read the myth after I read the book. I hope that's not backwards. But yeah, I haven't even read the back. I'm not going to read it on camera, because that would just be around 30 seconds to a minute of me just sitting here doing nothing. I keep looking at the wrong part of the camera. But it is 372 pages. So only a couple dozen more pages than this one. So I can probably get it done in 3 days like I did with this one. I'm proud of myself. I was supposed to finish it tomorrow, which is Thursday. But I actually finished it today, which is Wednesday. I'm really proud of that. And I really enjoyed the book. I actually enjoyed marking the book. I always thought people who did that were dorks. But not in like the I look down upon them way, just I thought it was funny. But I actually enjoyed doing it because I didn't have to flip back and forth. One of the things I marked was a monster description. That was really good. Yeah, like a human transformed into a pallid insect. Like ancient crone, a massively wrinkled, total bald woman's head atop the shriveled human torso, but with chitin armor arms that ended in serrated claws, like quadruple jointed legs. That's disturbing. I like that a lot. But yeah, highly recommend this book, even if you haven't read the other ones. It's really good. I'm gonna read the other ones. I'm hoping I'll get them for my birthday. But if I don't, I'll buy them on my own. But next up, Song of Achilles, and I'll do a separate video for that, because these reading vlogs actually encourage me to keep reading, because it's fun to record. So I will update you guys on this one, and thank you for watching me rant about some books that I have.